Let's be honest. How many of y'all for the first time saw Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide and you saw broccoli wasn't on the list? That had you fuming. Alright, I'm ready. Let's see what we're getting into. Hold up. No broccoli. Where's the broccoli? What am I gonna eat? You was mad, even though you know damn well broccoli wasn't something you ate in the first place. Peace, you're now rocking with B from BTHYSELF. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I first started following Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide back in December 2015. And prior to following the nutritional guide, I made a decision that I would fast for 30 days. And I told myself, if I must eat something, I'm not going back to the toxic foods that I once ate. It will be something from the nutritional guide and it will be raw form. And when I started that journey, I lasted for 23 days. I think that process of fasting first really helped me build a strong relationship with the guide and a solid foundation of discipline. So how was the nutritional guide put together? I began to understand that the foods listed on the nutritional guide were the closest to the original foods available to us. And further, they will be electric and have chemical affinity with our genetics. The target audience of Dr. Sebi's work and nutritional guide was black people, people of African descent. It's all about eating according to your genetic DNA. So if your favorite food is missing from the list, it meant that their research has proven the food either has no nutritional value or it may be detrimental to your health. Foods such as hemp seeds, Brazil nuts, arugula, purslane, those foods weren't always on the list. But as Dr. Sebi progressed forward with his research, he found that it has a substantial amount of benefit for the African gene. On the other hand, foods such as asparagus, parsley were once on the list and then they got removed from the list. It's not always about foods being toxic, but how they're mass produced or manufactured within the world. Okra was one of those foods that just passed the edible threshold. And now with mass cultivation methods and increased use of chemical in the soils as well as on the plants, it is no longer a safe enough food to be included on a nutritional guide. So I began to wonder, what exactly does that mean? Okra is no longer safe enough to eat? Or does it mean that okra is not safe enough to eat unless you grow it yourself? I feel like okra would be safe enough to eat if you choose to grow it yourself in that situation. You see, this is where I wish I had the opportunity to speak with Sebi and further pick his brain on certain things. And I don't think people gave Dr. Sebi the opportunity or gave him enough conversation back to have him expound deeper into his thought process. So I started this journey in late 2015. I only began to question more once I made my trip to Africa in 2017. What about fruits that are native to Africa? The baobab fruit is a perfect example. This is just my belief, but I believe the guide was to build a solid foundation of discipline and be mindful of what it is that we're consuming and putting into our bodies. It wasn't until I've come across Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide that I started checking for ingredients. And the guide kind of places the ball back into your hands. You begin to stop shopping less and creating more. It just builds a level of self-sufficiency many of us may never have had. You start to think about cooking your own food, growing your own food. You start to realize that no one out there is really going to care about your health until you do. Once I began to understand that, I stopped being so picky with the guide. To be honest, I think Dr. Sebi could have been far more strict with the guide than he actually was. I watched many of Dr. Sebi's videos and it doesn't seem like he really cares about food. Watching his videos, you see he spent most of the time talking about herbs, fasting, sea moss. And that's where you're gonna really find a next level, a God tier level of healing when it comes to becoming a better you. So I'm not gonna read all things from the list, but I will go ahead and read a few of the important reminders because I thought they were Pretty cool. It says drink 1 gallon of natural spring water daily. I do like the fact that the guide recommended 1 gallon of spring water per day. 1 gallon of spring water, I feel like if you're even reaching 75% of that, you're doing extremely well throughout the day. And it's very important that you're spacing this 1 gallon out throughout the day. That 1 gallon of spring water, I found you could really experience a nice colon cleanse if you stay hydrated. So I love that they put that on there. Take Dr. Sebi's products 1 hour prior to pharmaceuticals. All Sebi products can be taken together with no interaction. I don't like how they put that on there, and I don't think this is Dr. Sebi's fault, but a lot of people believe that they had to take Dr. Sebi's products to reach a certain level of healing, which is not true. As a matter of fact, Dr. Sebi has been open with sharing the ingredients that he uses for his products. So what's stopping you from creating your own? Mind you that these are a field of professionals that are creating the product. It's removing the labor work from you. So that's really important to understand, and you want to make sure that you're taking precaution when you're creating your own herbal compounds. Moving on, it says follow the nutritional guide strictly, and taking products regularly produces the best results with reversing disease. I disagree with this. Here's why. I just think this guide requires common sense. I think if they would have actually stated, all right, make sure you get a nice balance of fruits, of vegetables, raw foods, cooked foods, I think that would have been good to put that in there for someone who's just now latching onto the guide. Because I look in the Facebook groups and I see people constantly smothering their food in oil and sea salt and sugar, not sugar, but agave or date syrup. One of the important reminders is to sleep during healing hours, which is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I think that's where I run into a lot of issues lately, is that I'm up doing a lot of work late at night and I'm not getting the proper amount of sleep. But that's cool that they put that in there on the guide. To summarize my thoughts on the nutritional guide, I think it's a great guide to follow for Africans within the Americas and the United Kingdom to follow. However, when you get to the more tropical areas, I truly believe that more foods could have been squeezed onto the list, or, in certain aspects, I believe that certain foods should have been removed. It's just great to have this to start out on a health journey. Like, you really want to seek healing, do this for 6 months, a year. I knew Sebi was onto something great when he came up with this list, because my body just felt so good. Maybe for me it felt even better because I started out with fasting, but I think it's a great guide for people to follow, and I just want to keep his work alive. I'm just really thankful that Dr. Sebi took his time to get into this type of field, because black people of African descent, don't have much to refer to in regards to our genetic DNA in the field of health. For you to really utilize the potential of this guide, you have to stop focusing on what's not on it and just focus on what is on it. So that's all we have for today. My thoughts on Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide. For me, it gets an A+. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, get notified every time we drop content here on the channel, Monday at 8 a.m. Until next time, Tutal Nana.